everybody, thanks for checking out Battleborn, the open beta here on G4G. So, Battleborn is a fantastically fun game. It is a game that is being made by 2K, the same people who do the Borderlands series, and of course the flop that was AVP, but you know, what can you do? If you are a Borderlands fan, and you like, not necessarily the gameplay in the game, you know, but that helps, but you like the humor in it, the fact that they kind of don't pull their punches, and, you know, not everything's all uptight and stiff, you're going to like Battleborn. It's really fun. So, there are several games in this new emerging genre that's coming out. And it sometimes gets talked about as being a MOBA, but in this case, it isn't always. So let's talk about that. Battleborn is going to compete in a scene that is going to include Overwatch, Battleborn, Paladins, and another game called Gigantic, and Paragon. So let's talk about the Burger Kings and the Wendy's and the Hardee's before we jump into McDonald's that is Battleborn. Let's talk about the competitors. Overwatch is not out yet, but Overwatch is going to have a beta weekend this weekend. It's not open beta, it is invite, but they said it's going to be large invite. I got to do Overwatch during the winter, and I'm very excited for it to come out. I'm a Blizzard fanboy to a certain degree. I want to play it. Girlfriend wants to play it. My history goes back to like UT99 and everything like that. I've played Titanfall. I played Dirty Bomb, the UT series, Red Faction, Overwatch. I mean, the list goes on. I am an FPS person. So, Overwatch, definitely, you know, we called it Only Watch, Salty Watch, Only Salt, because, you know, we want to play it, and we haven't been able to. Then we have Paladins. Paladins is out by Hi-Res Studios, the makers of Tribes and Smite. We have Battleborn over here. We have Gigantic, and we have Paragon. Gigantic is going to be on Xbone and Windows 10 only, so you're not going to be able to run it on Windows 7 or the PlayStation or whatever. It is a Microsoft Store exclusive. So if you have a Xbox One or a Windows 10 PC, you can play it now in the beta. You need an invite. It's not open beta. Paladins is also in closed beta. It is very similar to Battleborn. Very, very close to it. And we also have Paragon. Now, Paragon is by Epic Studios. I call it the maker of Unreal Tournament. A lot of people say it's the maker of Gears of War. I just go back to their previous generation of stuff. Hell, I can even say Jazz Jackrabbit if I wanted to. But Paragon is the only one of this emerging hero shooter or champion shooter that is actually a MOBA. Paragon is the least appealing to me out of all of them because it is a straight up MOBA in the over-the-shoulder perspective. You know, obviously it's not a Heroes or a League or Dota. It is, you know, it's a third-person shooter. And that one you are managing in-game cards that you're upgrading, and, you know, you look at your hero, you're like, oh, this is an energy hero. I'm going to equip the energy twig of awesomeness and mana pots and health pots. Paragon's probably not going to do it for me. I tried doing the beta of that, and it was bugged the first weekend I was in it, where it wouldn't let me solo queue versus bots, and then I've had maybe like 15 minutes of that or so. It's okay. Paladins, I play regularly, pretty much daily. I really do like it. It's very straightforward. There is no MOBA elements to it whatsoever. It is pretty much a straight shooter. There is no PvE to it. And it is coming along. They're constantly updating it with big patches. It's going to be free to play. It'll be interesting. Paragon will be free to play. Battleborn and Overwatch are purchases. Battleborn is going to have a season pass, which 2K is notorious for doing. They do it in the Bioshock series. They do it in Borderlands. And Overwatch will be a purchase also, but you're getting everything with it. And everything is unlocked. They've stated, we're doing this with Overwatch so that if you need to change to, you know, a Hanzo to counter something on the enemy team, you should be allowed to do that rather than have it behind a paywall or a skill unlock or whatever. Battleborn does now have an unlocking system. It didn't used to. When the original beta came out, all the characters that were in the beta were freely available. Now there are unlocks to it. So if I go over to command
menu to check out stats, manage the Battleborn
that's
at your
Lilith,
disposal, or customize
by the way.
your gear. I imagine you'll be spending
If you're a
long time
fan
here,
of
so
Tiny
I spruced
Tina,
the droid up a bit.
you're going to want to
Proud of
see
how
a
it turned
Rendy.
out. Thanks, Nova. You're welcome, Battleborn.
Here's a Rendy.
The Battleborn information page provides an at-a-glance
Shut up,
overview
Nova.
of your comrades' talents,
Yeah, that's
character
not
rank
Here's the
progress,
Storm Nova.
and
This
other
is,
vital details.
that's like Moxie and everything like that. Probably Lauren Bailey, maybe. This is a Rendy. A Rendy is voiced by Tiny Tina. Let's see if we can get to hear it here.
Here you can preview newly acquired cosmetic upgrades for your Battleborn.
Nova does this once the first time you go through these screens, so here it is. Very, very clearly Tiny Tina. So if you are a huge fan of Tiny Tina from the Borderlands series and do not consider her racist because she talks in ghetto as it was claimed a few years ago, ridiculous shit that is. But as you can see, Oscar Mike is unlocked, but Phoebe is not. And Wrath is, but Reyna isn't. And that is because there are now level locks to these things. Right now, Oscar Mike, Arendi's available, Wrath, Montana, Thorn is available, and a few others. During the original beta, everybody was available. Now you actually have to unlock them. On the PlayStation version, I already have several unlocked, but obviously it's not transferring over. And there are, if you do have a Shift account, you do want to log into that. So, Umbra is a bit of a healer. She drops orbs out on the map that people can heal up from. And she also drops offensive orbs that damage people. Atticus is somebody a little new I'm not too familiar with. He does seem to have a bit of a, like a crowd control lock on people. I've seen him, I was dead and I was watching him juggle a Phoebe on my team in the main area where the old health regen used to be, and she was just stuck going up in the air. She couldn't get down. Benedict is like Soldier from TF2, classic rocket launcher guy, but he has an air boost. Balder is a tank with no shields, and despite his tiny little shield over here, he's pretty good. Calderius used to be available in the original beta. He's a mix of ranged, medium ranged, and close-up blades, those red energy blades. Deondi is somebody new. I believe she is one of the game's stealthers. El Dragoon is a large Lucha Libre wrestler. I just recently unlocked Alea. She's very interesting. She seems like a straightforward melee character with a bit of tanking, but she actually is possessed by a really angry demon and changes into it. Galt is a mid-range shotgunner. Isaac is the boss of the first mission of the campaign. More on that. And he's a pretty big tank, got a lot of shielding. Kelvin is relatively new. I've seen a streamer using him. He's apparently quite complicated. Cleese is Professor Xavier. Not that familiar with him. Marquis is available at the start. He is the game's quintessential sniper. If you leave a Marquis in the back line, he will start wrecking your team. He's got a big slow circle. And he also has a Clash of the Titans owl that he sends out and helps him out, which is killable. Melka is a mix of medium range and lunge melee attacks. She works on poison. Miko, as some people are calling the shiitake mushroom, is available at the start. He is an early healer that's available. He drops healing mushrooms for people, and he can slow people. And similar to one of the Overwatch characters, he has kunai that he just basically throws like this. It's very Genji, actually, Hanzo's brother. We have Montana, huge character to be behind. He is a little squishy, but he does have a pretty fast spin-up Gatling gun and a dashing melee charge. Arendi is the game, and he's free to start. Arendi is also free to start. One of the earliest, like, mage-type characters you're going to work with. She either fires 4 bolts at once from her 4 hands, or just spams them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oscar Mike is like Soldier 76 in Overwatch. Pretty straightforward. That's who I'm going to be playing, and that's my highest ranked character right now. He's got a grenade, big ultimate airstrike. He's got a stealth generator, and that really keeps him alive. I go through a lot of matches with no deaths because of that. Phoebe was my original favorite in the closed beta from the winter. She was unlocked at that time. Phoebes are total fucking twats. She took a bit of a nerf because good Phoebe players were incredible. Bad Phoebe players, yeah. But good Phoebe players, they stuck to you like glue. They kept out of your sight. I mean, if you're looking this way, Phoebe would just go right over here. Rapid fire melee attacks with all of her rapiers. She's a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Wrath is available at the start. He's a melee character like Phoebe. Not quite as rapid fire, but he has a little more crowd control. He can blind you so that your viewport basically just goes to about like this big. He can knock you up in the air, and he can do a Sonya spiral. Apparently, really good Wrath players have gotten very good at knocking you in the air and then spinning to win underneath you so that you can't drop and you're taking damage. You're being juggled on top of the spinning top. Reyna was available towards the end of the previous beta. She's a support character. She throws shields on people, and she has talents that give her a shield when she does that. And an okay gun. She's not a big damage person. Shane and Aurochs tends to unlock fairly early. He is actually, or she is a stealther with this demon attached to her. Very similar to a gigantic character who does almost the same thing. They can stealth around and like get in behind you, and I believe they've got some knock-up moves. Thorn has no shields, relies on fast health regen. Your typical, it's Hanzo, it's Vala, it's a character we've seen in every game. Just not a real stealther, but just a quintessential sniper. Not like Marquis, but a little bit less damage, but she has curses that increase damage in an area. Toby was one of the earliest announced characters after the previous beta. He is a penguin inside of a mech suit. Very similar to a Paladins character, which is a kind of a goblin inside of a Gazlo looking suit. And Whiskey Foxtrot almost looks like Krieg from the Borderlands series. And he's got some interesting stuff too. He has like a scrap cannon shotgun. I forget if he... I don't think he does anything stealthy either, but he's very similar to Oscar Mike. And typically the way that it goes with the unlocks is everybody has a default color. One of the earliest colors you unlock is a blue-red. Then there is a green variant, a pink variant, another type of green, and then everybody's final form tends to be a darker purple. Unlike Overwatch, unlike Paladins, unlike Gigantic, and unlike Paragon, Battleborn has a PvE element to it. And nope, 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 nope. Back. No, don't want public. So you could do co-op story like, say, Halo, or you can run through it solo, private. I've done 1 and 2. 1 I've done twice because I did it in the original beta, and now I've done Void's Edge just recently. You do unlock characters by going through the story. It is recommended that when you pick a character for the first time, you go through the story as that character so that you can get used to it when you PvP. Now, I knew Oscar Mike and a few others from the original beta, so I jumped right in and did PvP. And it's definitely recommended that you go through this.
AI has seized control of one of their old Bliss settlements, and they've called us to help clear it out.
Nothing we can't handle. Apropos of nothing, did the UPR mention a name?
So this is Professor
Yeah,
Xavier that's talking
Isaac.
right now.
Oh, well then, we're all going to die. Lovely.
Good news, everybody! You have officially lived longer than the last crew. So, as you can see, here's the limited available characters in the beginning. Marquis, the healer, Montana, you can see how big he is, Arendi, Tiny Tina, Oscar Mike, Wrath, and Thorn. So, I'm going to pick Oscar Mike and just show you what the beginning of it looks like. You can taunt over here. 2, 3, 6. Shit!
See me sweating, scrub?
As you can see, you're already seeing a lot of the Borderlands aesthetic to this. The kind of movie cutscenes, the good music, the humor.
Everyone accounted for? Good.
There's your
Let's
Professor
flush
Xavier.
that bastard Magnus out of his hole, which, by my estimates, is somewhere inside the mining colony. Get moving.
So, for Oscar Mike, the alt-fire is a zoom. That's the primary fire, and then you have a reload. And now, if you notice on my screen, you see the bullet with the sparks coming out of it. That's because the first half of my clip does extra damage to shields, and then it wears off. My abilities, one is the stealth. And then if I shoot, I come out of it. And another one is the grenade. And then you have the talent tree down over here. You see where it says augment available. So you go in and you can pick from your helix. Now, this is not permanent. Every time you are doing a PvE mission, and in every match, you level up as you go through them. And every match and every PvE, you get to pick your talents along the way. The higher that you go in your character, the more that you will get. So eventually, my Oscar Mike on the PlayStation 4 has 3 choices at 6 and like 3 choices at 9. So as you level up a character, you unlock the ability, instead of just picking 1 or 2 options, you actually get to pick up to 3. And pretty much you're going to, you know, go with the style and stick with it. For Phoebe, when I was doing it, I mostly stuck with aggression, but sometimes if the enemy team seemed really DPS oriented, I might do survivability. With Oscar Mike, I pretty much always pick the exact same things. You have a sprint, you have a reload, of course you have a jump. Sprint is a toggle, so you don't have to hold it. Like if you hit sprint, you just stay. There is no stamina meter. And the sound effects do vary from system to system. My PlayStation 4 sound effects for Oscar Mike do sound a little bit different than this. And there's there's some snipers up there. These shards are for activating gear, which you don't have in the beginning. You will get that later. That's Isaac. That's the enemy AI for this mission, and also becomes a playable character. These boxes you shoot, and these boxes you open. And then you can pick things up in it. Which, I forget what key is pickup over here. I have to check my key bindings and see which is pickup. Use interactive reload. Should be mouse 4. I may have to hold it. Or not. That's a little strange. Use interact... Oh, is it my reload? Ah, okay, so it's my reload. So those will give you things like credit boosts, over shields. Anytime your shields are purple, they're basically like mega shields.
Field upgrades deployed.
And now that I've leveled up to 2, I come back to my helix and I choose my skills. And, you know, what you'd expect from an FPS. Headshots are criticals, they'll do more damage.
Get to rights.
Oscar Mike is hysterical. He basically tries to be this big, classic, action movie hero and tries to drop, you know, action movie quips and everything like that. And, he's a lot of fun. He's definitely a recommended character for beginners. He calls grenades Fury Potatoes. So, when you get gear in this game, that's what your shards are for, and you can also use that in PvP matches. And that's basically gear like, increased shields, increased shard drops. Some of them are negative and positive, like increased shield regen, but decreased health regen. And where Oscar Mike is good is if you get into trouble, you just stealth and get out of it. And you can eventually get a talent that says when you stealth, your shields recharge automatically. So that's good to just, you know, even if you're not trying to get away stealthy, it's good to just make your shields recharge.
Outstanding.
And here at this tier, I can either do a quick scope or a long scope. And I like to do the long scope on this one, as it gives them a pretty good amount of range. Now you see that little vendor up there with the 500? If I had 500 shards, I could go up to that, and I can summon something that actually helps me. Whether it be a shield bot, or an attack bot, or a heal bot. It's up to you. You spend the money how you want. This is what a checkpoint looks like. And when you see yellow versions of those, that means you should stand on it, because something is about ready to unlock, like a gate or a door. So, that's a brief overview of Battleborn. Stay tuned to the channel for more videos on it, now that it is out on open beta for the PC. I'll probably be doing PvP streaming, PvP videos, and maybe even a Let's Play here on YouTube. Take care, everybody. Stay tuned to the channel. Thanks for watching.